over. I have to do lot of yes, admit, Kate. So my friends, namaste to all, and we discussed about 3 diseases of the mind in couple of sessions, and they are attachment and detachment. And second is it leads to sorrow and the suffering, and the third, it causes the delusion in the mind with the wrong notion. And then we also understood the 8 factors. I'm just reminding you: object, then comes the sense organs, likes, dislikes, attachment and detachment, desire fulfilled, greed, desire not fulfilled, suffering, sorrow and the suffering. The first 3 factors are connected, and that leads to delusion. Delusion leads to loss of memory, and loss of memory leads to loss of intelligence, and that is why we suffer in our daily life. So, if you have contemplated and reflected, and you had enough time to listen and contemplate on the previous sessions, and if you have a question, why this mind? Why and how? This mind leads to these 3 diseases. So, one answer is very simple. We already know that it is because of attachment and detachment. Then the next question comes: why this mind attracts these 3 illnesses? So ask the next question, that how come the mind works? So if we understand clearly how this mind works, then it becomes easy for us to take care of the mind. I know you all are seekers, you might have reflected on this. So in few sessions we will understand the flow of the mind. But before that, we have been talking about purification of the mind. So I'm giving you a couple of thoughts to think over it. You listen to me, the principles of Eastern wisdom. We all have our intellect, we are human beings, and we understand it. We claim there is a clarity, but even after the clarity, the mind does not change. I was asking Brandy, do you smile all the time? No, I try. So trying comes from the mind. Now pay attention what happens. There is a clarity in the mind. We have understood the principles. These are the 3 diseases. But the mind continues with its emotional dependence. Mind continues with its emotional dependence. It continues to blame and complain. Terry was also saying the same thing before the beginning of a session. That is why we say we need to purify the mind. If we purify the mind, then what happens? The knowledge from here descends down into the heart, which is the seat of the mind, and the mind changes. We are there. Now, if we are not there, now go to the world and understand that many people, they study the text. Or look at, many people go to Harvard and MIT, their IQ goes up very high. But they do not change their mind and its emotional dependence. What happens? Do you remember the word? how many people commit suicide? The emotional dependence, that emotional changes do not take place in the mind, even though I know it. I stopped giving that example of a genius Bill Gates, but you think of it. Think of it. That why we continue to suffer, and the time comes why we continue, why many people commit suicide, because even after I know it. Have you heard that, the many great philosophers and even the writers in the history committed suicide? Have you heard that any master in the Eastern wisdom committed suicide? Compare so that you have a clarity. So the mind is a stumbling block in the journey. That is why we continue to say, you have to change your mind. So when this mind rise in consciousness by learning these principles and the practices, when the mind rise in consciousness, then whatever the knowledge that we have learned, we have understood, there is a clarity. So that knowledge descends into the mind and it transforms you. Knowledge plus practice, this is both are together. But when we fall in consciousness, it is because of the three diseases, then frustration, pain, suffering enters in our life. It is not because of, you can add, it is not because of anyone in the world outside. Whether he or she is your honey, your friend, your employer, your employee, or wealth, or body, no way. Just I'm deviating a little bit to understand another. This fall in consciousness is by default since our birth, because we have lot of expectations from the world outside. So in Kundalini meditation, we say we have to shift this energy. We have to raise this energy. We have to strip this energy from the lower movement of the consciousness to the higher. Maybe from the sensuality, from the desire, from the greed. That is what the Kundalini meditation is all about. But if your focus remains on the emotional dependence on these lower centers or lower states of the consciousness, even after 20 years, you cannot reach to that state. One thing. And another danger in the Kundalini meditation is that I still have those desires of emotional dependence, and I practice meditation. So the lower mind mixes with the higher practice of meditation, and it creates a lot of hallucinations and imaginations. So when we are a seeker, we understand that, and so then what is the result? Then we must acquire the knowledge by learning the principles of Eastern wisdom. Clarity is there. So once that clarity is there, then comes that mind. What is this mind? Why mind becomes crazy, lazy, obsessed? Why it invites likes and dislikes? So when it invites likes and dislikes, mind dwells in the world. It starts brooding. It starts the mechanical movement. When it starts the mechanical movement, after dwelling, It is thinking and thinking of fantasy. What is fantasy? That you will give me peace and happiness. Kristen understood. She nodded her head. Younger should attend. So fantasy leads to desire. And desire leads to delusion. And delusion, what is delusion? One master used to say this delusion is temporary madness. Temporary madness. And then in that temporary madness, the mind has a loss of memory, loss of intelligence. And then we suffer. We are moving slowly. What is this mind? How this mind works in our daily life, and how to arrest those movements of the mind that leads to suffering. So you see that when I'm picking up only desire, delusion, desire and delusion, when they mixed up, it results into different kinds of violence, crime at the physical level, at the mental level, at the emotional level, to myself and also to others. But we are a seeker. I'm leaving that. We are a seeker. Another important point that I want to mention here, because you all are seekers and you are living near and dear with non-seekers. Are you getting it? It's a very important point now in the life of a seeker. It happened to me too much. So what happens when you are living around non-seekers means they are not treating this path. The world outside of people, what happens? They will give you a very hard time in your life. It's so wonderful. When the couple joins the session, then they both understand. But still, we have a problem with the people who are living around you. You're doing meditation, why you are angry? You see, people will blame and complain you. I have heard you, I have seen you. I see you every day, you close your eyes, wasting your time. Near and dear ones will definitely blame and complain. Do you see that every master has dealt very deeply with all the subtle matters in our life? So if you say, no, I'm going for meditation, so I have a session. Oh, okay, do it meditation, just closing your eyes. I have seen your behavior and attitude in daily life. Have you heard those blames and complaints around you? If not, you will hear it. If not, you will definitely hear it, because now your mind is moving towards purity, and your near and the dear ones, they will definitely complain, try to make you crazy. You have to tolerate that. You have not to respond to them. First thing. Oh, yes, I'm still learning, I know I have been angry yesterday, but I'm still learning. I'm learning. How long you are going to learn? They try to push you. They try to irritate you. They try to build, to irritate and trigger your ego. No way. You have to remember and go back to tjhe, the fourth treasure you have to tolerate. This is what I'm saying. It happened to me for years together. Oh, look at this guy every day. He wakes up at 5 and he sits there. I have seen him. they will try to blame, they will try to make you crazy for anything, for everything, because they are non seekers. So be kind to them. How to be kind to them? Withdraw yourself, remain calm. If not, you will again become a non seeker. then then I'm the only left, will blame and complain this guy, he has been teaching, nothing happened. I have tried for 10 years, nothing happened. You might be facing some of these things. Maybe your son, maybe your daughter, maybe your honey, maybe your friend, maybe your senior. That is, it's a word of caution. They are non-seekers. They are not understanding this journey. Leave them. And this happened to Buddha. I gave that example. When the Buddha got enlightenment and he went to his father, knocked the door, and he said, "Okay, you have come." You see that what his father said? "I know you have been begging, overheard from a lot of people because of you got frustrated, you are not able to feed yourself. That is why you knocked the door, and that is why you have come to me." That was his perception. So, non seeker always has that perception. I have to guard myself from those if I am a seeker. So Buddha, father said, "Take over this kingdom. You are the only son." Buddha smiled and said, "Now, look at the seeker. Dad, dad, dad and dead, seems to be very common. Anyhow, the dad, I should never become old. I am ready to take over the kingdom, provided, first condition, I should never become old. Second condition, I should never die. Third condition, I should never become sick. And the fourth condition, there should never be any enemy for me and my kingdom. If you meet those four conditions, I will take over your kingdom." Now apply this in your daily life. So that, with that introduction, we can come to the mind. Can we know something about this mind? What is this mind? How it functions? And if we are a seeker, then in the mind we live with the fourfold practices: discernment, dispassion, six treasures, and we have a desire for ending the suffering and living in the permanent peace and happiness. Another part that I should make you understand, that when you are a seeker and you continue with these fourfold practices, your thought pattern changes. If they are changing, you see what happens? You get irritated with the honey, but now you are not. There is a trigger from the mind about the image that you have created about your boss and employee. That trigger has minimized because you are a seeker. Now, for every problem in your life, I will blame you. You are responsible. Why? Because of the mind. Our goal now is totally fixed. I want to bring an end to the suffering once and for all, and I want to awaken to my inner peace, permanent peace and happiness, love and wisdom. I believe you all are clear. So the next question comes, Terry, who is holding me? I mean, mind is holding me to a particular object that causes the sorrow and the suffering, or the object is holding me. First thing to understand. And then I will bring the first clarity about the mind as taught by the masters. Who is holding me? My master used to give a wonderful example. A boy was swimming, holding on the log of wood in the river. After some time, he finds that log of wood is holding him. He realized that log of wood has hands and feet. Oh my God, it was crocodile. Do you understand the delusion? Who is holding me? Yes, keep that smile, Christina, all the time. Younger ones, we all are young, just unnecessarily saying. And did you understand that the log is holding him the same way the wealth, home, car, honey, beloved, soulmate, holding me, or I am holding? I made a very gave a tough example of crocodile. Think of this. Once you drop the delusion, the real love being expressed in all the relationships. So you need not to worry, if I'm not attached, then how there would be a love. That I made it clear. Now comes the first part. I will. Have you heard of Ida hurricane, Kate? Hurricane Ida. Ida hurricane. Ida, okay. Thank you for correcting my pronunciation. Ida. It spells the same IDA whether you say Ida or Ida. So, Ida hurricane came from the river. Yeah? Which river, Kate? You don't know.
I don't know the name of it.
Maybe Mississippi River or any river. Now, what I want to convey to you, that river is a flow of water. Am I right? Mind is a flow of thoughts. Clear? Now, Ida hurricane, how it came? When the flow of that water reversed, it created a whirlpool, and thousands of the home were destroyed. Are you getting it? River is a flow of water. One flow and the opposite flow. When there is an opposite flow in the river, it created Chicago River. Sometime it happens in Chicago River, sometime it happens in Michigan Lake. Leave that lake. Mind is a flow of thoughts. Mind is also a flow of thought, but it has two flow, the way the river has two flow. Ida hurricane. Ida hurricane temporarily reversed the flow of the part of Mississippi River, and that is why we suffered. I'm stressing it again. Mind is a flow of thoughts. It has one direction, it has opposite direction. So when it flows in the opposite direction, Ida hurricane takes place in our mind, in our life. Yeah, step by step we are understanding what the hell this mind is. And once we understand clearly, then it becomes easy for us. Oh, Ida hurricane has come to my mind. Stop this first. Become a seeker. Follow the fourfold practices. And you will discover that even if the anger is there inside, it dissolves and it melts away. Then soulmate remains only in your heart. And that is being expressed outside. I believe you have understood. River has one flow. No, river has two flows. Similarly, the mind has two flows. This comes from Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Commentator explains so beautifully. So I'm using his commentary. So we have two opposing sets of experiences in the mind. Clear? Two flow. One is fear, insecurity, anxiety, pain, reaction, attachment, detachment, likes, dislikes, blame, complaint, instinctive, impulsive behavior. One flow. That causes the Ida hurricane, That causes the Ida hurricane in my mind. I should become aware. Oh, now Ida is coming into my head. So the moment I become aware, I know I can minimize its impact. That is what, they predict and they announce, be careful, safe. So the first step of a seeker is to reverse that flow or remember the opposite flow. The second flow is what is right and good, what is peace and happiness, what is love and knowledge. Are you getting it? Mind is a flow of thoughts. It has two flows. They are natural in the mind. That is why we need to purify the mind. By default it is there. Why by default? Because we evolved from the animal kingdom. So we carry forward that animal mind. We carry forward that animal mind to flow. Are you getting it? I believe so. To flow of the mind. They are natural to the mind. Natural in a sense, they are mechanical, they are instinctive, they are habitual. But because we are a conscious human being, we are not animals. Hence, we have to change this flow once and forever. And that is why knowledge is required, contemplation is required, reflection is required, followed by the practice is required. So now think of this. Just think of it. From where the river originates. I gave you another thought and then we will do the practice. We will take up the next. From where the river originates? From glacier? From the rainwater? I'm just comparing so that you will never forget. And sometime from the spring, the volcano erupts. Yeah? 3 factors. The glacier in the mind, we carried forward the past impression from the previous birth. That is why my response to a thing, an object, and people are different from you. So that glacier is the storehouse of impressions. In yoga we say karma shaya. Second is the rainwater. I'm comparing with the river. Rainwater means the way I think and speak and act with my surrounding, my people, dear and the near ones, and the strangers and the world outside, including my desires. That is what rainwater, rain is always pouring on me the moment I wake up until I sleep. And in sleep, I carry those impressions. And spring comes from the volcano. Sometime we erupt. Enough is enough. Bill Gates, 27 years. So after 27 years, that volcano erupted. Enough is enough. Are you getting it? Think of these three things. Mind has a flow of thoughts, two flow of thought. One is negative, the other is positive by default. And they both come from, good and bad, both come from three sources. Both come from three sources. I stopped there gossiping, so let us start our practice. We will continue in the next session. Eyes are closed. Body is steady. Mind is facing within. We are a seeker. We understand what it means by body is steady. It is because mind is happily looking inside and going inside. You are aware of it. Now you can easily recognize if any thought is coming, any thought, any feeling, any image coming from any of the three sources. Glacier, very much a possibility. Rainwater, very much a possibility. But volcano is not there. Do you see that? This is what it is known as awareness, self-awareness. Understand, my friends. Be very clear. Every step is clear. When every step is clear, the mind in the light of the knowledge changes. I believe you understand that part clearly because you all are seekers. I know I have to use as a guide and as your friend seeker 1,000,000 times so that it is stored in your mind and you will start living as a seeker inside and outside whatever is your role. So with the same reference, let us be comfortable. Who prevents you not to be comfortable? Three sources. Volcano, no chance, because you are doing meditation, so at least we are consciously practicing. So, question of erupting into any sense of negative flow of the mind is not possible. So, two sources are left, either from the rainwater, you understand, symbolically I am saying, and other is from the glacier. Unknown source. I don't know why my mind is started thinking about the cat that I saw 5 years ago. Do you see? That is why we say be carefree. Be comfortable, be carefree. They will continue to come until we purify the mind completely. And that we have been learning, looking at the neck joint, shoulder joints. Check the feeling in the sensation. It is sensation, comfortable, and steadiness. That is the knowledge we are putting into the mind against the negative flow. And we don't care about the negative flow. We say being carefree. So being comfortable and being carefree go together. So the more and more clarity comes, what will happen in your daily life? Someone tries to make you upset and you are clear. Okay, thank you. Even if there is a trigger from the glacier or the rainwater, you are calm. But that is not the end of this being comfortable and carefree. Move the mind on all the joints of the body. Be there. Feel sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Then mind moving within. And we have to face the contents from the glacier or the rainwater. Even yesterday you might have some argument. Those thoughts will return. But now you are clear. Okay, I have to be carefree. Because if I become careful about these thought patterns, I move to another flow which is not needed. So you simply don't move. You are simply aware. You are not carried away by any thought, feeling, images. And you can easily recognize what happened yesterday related to that thought is coming. Oh, the thoughts are totally unrelated. I never thought of it. Coming from the glacier. Volcano is not there. See the beauty of the journey. So we have a clarity, we have right knowledge, and that is when the mind accepts in the state of being comfortable, what happens, you can imagine. So we have been doing, we will continue in the third step, the mantra. Now see, are we changing the flow? Now we have gone deeper. So mantra does not remain simply the flowery words for us. It is done with the emotion, with the feeling. No, I want to change this feeling, emotion. Now let my mind have an emotional dependence on this mantra. Do you realize we have gone a step deeper? Sarve Sham Swastir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. May there be well-being for all. You can even recite mentally Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. Or in English, may there be well-being for all. So, knowledge says well-being for all, irrespective of my relations as a friend and the foe, irrespective of the stranger. Why? I want to change my mind. Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. No, you will discover that your mind starts singing within with the emotion, with the feeling. Until now, it may have been just a dry knowledge spoken by the teacher. Why? We understood the two flow. No, I don't want to have the second flow, which creates an Ida hurricane. So those thoughts are coming, let them come, and you continue your journey. That results into a deeper meditative state. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. May there be peace for all. Otherwise, we are changed into pieces by the second flow. That is the beauty of being a human being, self-awareness and a free intellect. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. May there be peace for all. You can expand your mind, move deeper inside the head or the heart into the space. Why? You know it. Peace, the shape and the shape of the piece is like a good space. So you are exploring the good space, then depending on the flow of the thoughts coming from, you know it. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. May there be completeness in all. First in me, I see the completeness. Completeness is an awareness at this moment, being aware of the negative flow that pushes my mind outside onto the body, onto the thoughts, coming either from the glacier or the rainwater. Now you're not paying any attention. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. So the moment the mind changes the flow, you have a sense of completeness. My friends, understand, whenever you are full of joy, bubbling, spontaneous, you have that sense of completeness in your life. But that is only 1% in our life. Increase to 100%. That is what the meditation is. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. See that if you are singing in your mind, does your mind trigger the good feeling and good emotion? Why? Knowledge is now descending into the mind. That is why it does not descend. That is why we say purify, purify, purify the mind. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Peace, well-being and completeness is present in the mind to counter Ida coming from glacier, and you know it. I need not to repeat it. That is why traditional wisdom says listening and learning with the teacher who personalizes contemplation and reflection to bring the clarity in the intellect, followed by the practice to achieve the goal. And now go, last time we did it. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So the knowledge says Om represents the real self that dwells deep inside the heart. So when you say Om, where the mind should flow, you know it now. You see that knowing raises your awareness. Not knowing, you get carried away by whatever comes to the mind. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. A subtle change today with reference to Shanti. From where the sun rays come, from the sun. From where the Shanti comes, from the Om, from the real self. Peace reveals from the real self. By the fact I see the sunlight, sun rays in my room, intellect says it is sun. Let us continue to sing mentally. and you change the flow of the mind, irrespective of the flow being pushed by the glacier and the rainwater. I believe you are clear. We are going deeper. And when you say Shanti, 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 stay there where you have gone deeper. Allow the peace to reveal like the rays of the real self. You recite Om. As long as you recite Om, mind continues to move deeper inside. Then stay there when you say Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Why to stay there? To check if peace is revealed. Continue with that. You need not to be in a hurry. Hurry means Ida. So you have maintained that awareness. Movement of the mind inside the heart. And you continue to stay there with awareness and attention while saying Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. You see, we just did the 3-step. Maybe we will do only 1 step in the future. You know, mind is moving deeper inside, saying Om, and staying there to become aware of that peace being revealed. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And you will discover a natural change in your tone, in your feeling. So, what is the focus of the intellect? You know, you change the Ida to that is constant, that is continuous, That is why I gave an example, a metaphor. The river is a flow of water. If there is no flow, it's not a river. Then it's a swimming pool or a pond or a lake. So the mind is a flow of thought. Which thought? Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand. Be aware, feel the changes. Bring your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. And my friends, bring the hands down. How are you, Vaibhav?
Sir, I'm good. When mind is relaxed and calm, so it gives me an insight that as a human being, I have a choice to choose what to go a wrong path or a right path. So why not to choose a path which is peaceful? So with that, it was like
Good.
I'm flowing with that flow. So it was very easy and very relaxing.
Yes. And it is the easiest thing to do. Why it is difficult? That is why we say mind is impure. Delusion is there. Just see that. See the clarity. How are you, David and Jerry?
Very good. It's funny. I think it was Vaibhav on Saturday mentioned the space, the peaceful space provided this barrier from all the from all the noise, I guess. So today I had this beautiful buffer there between myself and Hurricane Ida.
Good.
And it was kind of like being in a fortress. You knew a storm was going on, but you knew you were secure inside. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
That's
and
a beautiful,
extremely quick.
Beautiful way to put it. That is what, and it can happen anytime, anywhere. I have to simply become aware, change the flow. Done. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good. Similar to 5 Up 2 is I had, as soon as I closed my eyes, I had this sense of joy and also a kind of like imagining like a little girl with a basket going off to pick cherries.
Yeah, that's good.
And I was picking the cherries like that I wanted to put in the basket, right? And super happy actually with all the cherries, but maybe not.
That's
maybe not really just not attaching to any of it.
Attaching.
And it was very peaceful and happy.
Happy. She said one thing very wonderful that I want to put it. So this glacier or rainwater or volcano, remember this, it contains the impressions of both the flow. It has a good flow and it has a wrong flow. So sometimes what happens, the mind is so much intense, you close your eyes and you are full of the joy coming from the glacier, coming from directly from the glacier. Glacier means the storehouse of impressions that we have. That gives an idea that something deeper within is located. So I have to find out what is this. How are you, Brandy, and then Kate? I'm going like anti-clockwise.
I'm good. That was really deep for me and focused. When we did the mantra, I got super cold, and then it was kind of lost time. So it was a really and
really
quick.
Deep. Very good. Yeah, really deep and quick. That is another way to succeed. How are you, Kate?
I'm good. That was something happened different in this meditation, and trying to put words to it. The words that I could use, very, very still.
Very
I would
still.
say, like, my body was my body was very heavy before coming out, if that makes sense. And at first I thought, oh, my legs fell asleep, but they didn't.
They didn't.
Afterwards, I've noticed that my legs aren't tingling or something, so they didn't fall asleep, but I really did feel very weighted. And I definitely couldn't feel my hands when you said, bring your attention to your hands. But then, and on the way out, there was, I would say maybe, I don't know if it was purple or fuchsia, like magenta heart.
Yeah.
And then I started to feel the hands and could finally bring them up, but very, very
Still. Yes. That stillness, we have been understanding. That stillness, experience of that stillness is reflecting the real self. Because that real self does nothing. It is neither the doer, enjoyer. That is what we want to explore. Why it has not to do anything? Because it is permanent peace and happiness. It has to do nothing. How are you?
Just very, vast stillness.
Vast stillness. That's beautiful. Beautiful experience. How are you, Stephen?
Real good. I enjoy the lessons. As I've expressed, I like the Saturdays because I get the opportunity to contemplate and reflect during the lesson. Today you said a lot of things that I've realized during my contemplation and reflections, identifying the triggers, identifying the flows, identifying the choices that I have that allows the positive and the negatives.
Yeah.
For this meditation, after I went through that, okay, we're not contemplating or reflecting to start this meditation, I fell into a completely peaceful space of
Beautiful.
Your voice is background noise, and I too at the end had very difficult time raising my hands. I didn't want to come out of meditation and actually contemplated whether I was just going to stay in it or fight myself to bring my hands up, and I chose the latter. So
yes,
here I am.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. You see that it is a fact that we can recognize the true flow of the mind. We can definitely recognize because we are human beings, we are self-conscious beings. And first is the case of recognition. Second, you accept one flow. How? By the intellect, by being aware. That is what you have been explaining, and that leads to a total stillness. You see that, it's a primary practice. Kindergarten yoga practice 50 asanas. Why? To make the body still. And still it does not become still. You see that? You practice headstand and even head says, no, I will not be making you still. I'm not criticizing, but we have to understand. We have to get the right knowledge. So when we move into becoming a seeker, we don't care what practice, in which posture we sit. How are you, Antoinette? And then I'll come to Christina and Ashok. Yes. I'm moving like this.
Your how to identify the flow of our thoughts, because that led to a lot of sensation in my heart, and I felt my heart opening during the meditation, and that's where it was centralized in just my heart. So I just felt a deep opening.
Good.
And a lot of peace.
Lot of peace. Good. Continue. Don't leave it. You can continue to do your work and be internally and your mind is already going deeper within. How are you? Wonderful. How are you, Christina?
Good morning. Thank you for that lesson beforehand. I was taking a bunch of notes, and I feel like I've been in the storm of the rainwater for a while of my life, and immediately when I have a lot of roommates and there's people in the house that make a ton of noise, but I didn't let my storm react to them, and I feel as if I felt my entire body, but I knew I was steady the entire time. And I have not felt that. And then at one point I felt my heart beating so hard out of my chest, and I felt it vibrating my body, but I didn't need to do anything about it because I was so still and at peace. And so It was wonderful. And it was very hard to raise my hands. I had my mind on the right and on the left, but to lift it,
It's a deeper. Younger, when we are young, the mind is exposed and interested and excited in the things of the world outside. That is natural. But that is what the rainwater is. The more we practice, we understand that how to take over the mind. And it is happening. How are you, Ashok? Sir.
Sir, namaste.
Namaste, sir.
Sir, it was a good experience and more stable and more close to the heart.
Very good. Now your problems a couple of months ago are dropping? Going away?
Yes, now I am becoming a seeker.
No, becoming a seeker. I like it. Yes. So you can
during the daytime I completed.
You can be a seeker with your honey, with your son, with your daughter, with your stranger, with an employer. And I have already warned. Once we are a seeker, the non-seeker will try every means. Oh, look at this guy is doing meditation, closing his eyes, wasting his time. No, but yesterday you became angry, you hesitated. But you know you are a seeker, you are working to get rid of the hesitation. So that is, but you communicate to yourself. You need not to communicate with others, especially the non-seekers. You have to be kind to the non-seekers, that they are helping you, they are taunting you, they are hurting you, and you are still a seeker. That is definitely going to happen in everyone's life. I know it.
एक वो है ना निंदक नीरे राखी है.
Nindak nire rakhi. So we have to tolerate. We have not only to bear the burden of the glacier and the rainwater, but we have also to bear the burden of the people who are living nearby. My dad used to say, you see that he's wasting time, he's not earning money, just sitting and run away, goes to the Himalayas and going to the master. And then he said, did master give you any money? Dad, I have to give money to the master. I have to give money. So tough a journey. But when you are a seeker, it becomes so easy. See the difference. When you are not a seeker, it's toughest. But when you are a seeker, okay, thank you, Dad. Thank you, you are good. You are right. Today I'm going to earn money. Oh, one day you will be able to earn money? Yes. One day I will work hard. No, again you will go to the master and give the money to him. You have to bear the burden. I'm opening up after a long time. That is all for today. Thank you. It is not pertaining to the money. It pertains to a lot of things. Your behavior, your attitude, your personality, people will definitely do it. Let them do it. At least they are happy because of criticizing us.
Terry.
Oh,
Terry, yes. How are you,
Yeah.
Terry? Yeah, Kate, thank you reminding me. I was thinking. Terry, oh yes, Terry. I have enough time. You all have enough time. We will listen to Terry. Yes. Sorry, I muted it. So in case of in case of you, Terry, it is the body that is becoming your dad and complaining. Don't listen to the body.
It's like when you go inside from the storm to hide from the storm.
Yeah.
And I'm inside, and I'm watching everything, I'm hearing everything, I'm listening. But it's like there's 100 people outside banging on the doors and the windows trying to get in and kill me.
Choose one floor. Yes, I can see that.
Yeah. But I can't run out any of the doors or go up the chimney or anything because they're all out there. So I have to just stay in there. And
Yeah, stay in there. Stay cool and stay calm. Yes, she's getting it. Wonderful. Think of this, my friend.
I'm not that good.
I know now. This sweet girl started smiling. In the beginning, she was not. That's good. That is our job. That is all. Thank you very much. We'll meet again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Namaste.
Thank you, Girish. Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste. तो कैसे हैं प्रभु जी? ये है जर्नी. आंख बंद करके हाथ पैर ऊपर उठा के थोड़ी होती है जर्नी.